and welcome to this introductory lesson on C Sharp. And we have a course here that will take us right through the whole lot, but let's start off with the basics. Okay, we're going to look at the program software we're going to be using is Visual Studio Express 2012. And our learning outcomes here are where we're going to get the software, an introduction to the UI, and creating our first application. Okay, so first of all, where will we get the software? So again, if you actually just type into any search engine and type in Express 2012 products, you'll come to a website like this. And if you scroll down here to Express for Windows desktops, or Windows Desktop, okay, you can then download the product and install it on your machine. Okay, once you have it on your machine, you can then launch the product, okay, and it will look something like this. Okay, so you can see here we have the Microsoft Visual Studio Express 2012 for Windows Desktop. And if I look at the UI here, we start off with the start page here in the center of the okay, showing me, and again, there's what's new in desktop development. Sorry about that. Getting started with desktop applications and learning resources again are available to us. If we look at the layout itself, again, we have a main menu here at the top with a toolbar underneath. On the left hand side we have a toolbox in general. Now we'll get to all of these things as we work with them. Okay, and over here on the right I have what's called a Solution Explorer. Okay, I have an output window on the bottom. Okay, and my main work area here in the center. Whenever you want to open a new application, okay, we can go File and New Project. Now you can see here on the left hand side I have recently installed or recently projects I've completed, installed and online. Okay, again, with this piece of software you can use Visual Basic here. You can also use Visual C++. However, we're going to concentrate on Windows Visual C and Windows. Okay, over here in the center now we can see some types of programs we can write. Okay, Windows Forms, Windows Presentation Form, Application, Console, Class Library, and Empty Project. We're going to start off on a console application, so if you click Console Application here in the center. Okay, and after you've done that, if you come down here, you can actually save or name the application. Okay, and I'm going to name the application INTRO to C Sharp. Okay, the first thing we need to notice here is how I've written this. I've written it in camel case. That's every new word is, I'm using a capital letter to start each new word, so you can see I'm capital I, capital T, and capital C there. Intro to C Sharp. And here underneath is where it's going to be saved, so it's going to be saved in My Documents, Visual Studio 2012, and Projects. Okay, and you can see here it's going to create a directory for the solution, and I'm happy enough with that. And I'll click OK. Okay, so we let it do that. Okay, and you can see here it's booted up on the program and it has opened up an empty project for me. Okay, so let's look at what's happening here. I'm going to just tidy up the user interface here for a couple of things here. As you can see here over on the left here I have Toolbox, and I'm just going to close that off. That's really only for Windows Forms. And I have Database Explorer. We won't be using that just yet. And I'm going to close off my output box here down there. I just don't want to have too many things on the screen here. Okay, I'm just going to enlarge it so it'll be a little bit better on the video. And again, I can do some things like that. So under Tools and come down to Options, I'm going to come over here, just come down here to my fonts and colors. Okay, and I'm just going to just make it, I'm just going to set it up at size 16. just so it'll be a little bit easier for you to read off the screen here. I'll click OK to that. Okay, that just makes it a little bit bigger. Okay, over here on the right, you can see here it's created under Solutions Explorer. It shows me a few little things here. Here's the name of my project, which is Intro to C#. And underneath that, I have Properties, References, I have an App Config, and I have Program CS. Okay, and Program CS is actually what I'm looking at here. You can see here from line 1 to 5, it has what I call using statements. Okay, now again, it's using various things from the .NET framework. Okay, however, we'll come across these in a later lesson. Okay, but they're used in order to drag information from what we need to make this program work from the .NET framework. Okay, it starts off here with a namespace. Okay, so you can see namespace intro to C#. And notice with this namespace, it starts off here with an opening brace. This curly brace here, it's known as a brace. And it closes off down here at the end with a closing brace. So you can see nearly every block of code we'll be using in C# will have, when we write blocks, it will have an opening brace and a closing brace. Inside of this, we have the class program, and again, we'll talk about classes in greater detail as the course goes on. And again, that has an opening brace and a closing brace as well. And inside of the class program, you can see there it has what is known as the main method. Okay, static void main string args. Again, I'll come to this later, but what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pop in just a few spaces between this. So I'm going to actually write a program, okay, inside of the main method. Now, as I said, I will deal with methods and main methods, what they are, and what void is, and all that later on. Okay, to get us started, I'm going to create an application that's just going to print out a simple line called Hello World. And notice when I start to type in C#, I'm going to start, I'm going to ask it I'm going to use what's known as console write line. Okay, I have what's dropping down here. This is known as IntelliText. Okay, and again, it's good to actually use this. So once you start to see what you want, you can either click on it or else just hit the tab button and it fills in the rest. So again, console and part of console dot, okay, is a write line. Okay, so there's write and write line. I'll come to the difference between the two of them later on. Okay, and this is actually known as a method. Okay, it's again, it's inherited from the main system object, and you can see there console.writeLine. And every method that you write will have a set of parentheses, and I'm going to terminate the line with a semicolon. Now, inside of the whatever I put into the parentheses here is known as an argument. Okay, and what I'm going to put what's known as a string. Okay, and strings go in between a set of inverted commas. Okay, so I'll type in hello world. Okay, and just tidy that off. So you can see there the string I've actually typed console write line dot. Console write line, and inside the parentheses hello world. Again, this is a program, so this is going to be a simple program that writes out to the console hello world. Now, how I get that to run is there's a few ways. I can go build and build solution and start debugging. Alternatively, I can just come up here and click the start button. Okay, and notice what happens here when I click start. Okay, you can see the build the solution, and there for a split second the console came up and then went away. Okay, the reason that happened was the program started up, it wrote out onto the hello world, and then it stopped. Okay, and closed. Okay, now to keep that open, I'm just going to put in a second one here called a console read line. Okay, and the console read line method, I'm not going to put that in, but basically that's just going to keep the console open. It's going to be waiting for some kind of input from me. And that will hold the application open. So let's build and run this again. So I'll just hit the start button again. Okay, but notice this time the console stays open. Okay, and what's printed out onto the console there is hello world. And you can see the cursor here flashing just there, just underneath hello world. It's moved onto the console read line, and it's waiting for input. I'm going to just hit the enter key in the keyboard and give it no input, and it closes down the program. Okay, so there's your first program. Now let's actually look at what's actually happened here. If I go into my Windows Explorer, I'm going to go into Visual Studio 2012, and inside of that I have a folder here called Projects, and here I can see the first project that's run there, and that's Intro to C#. And if I double click that, you can see there I have an SLN and an SDO, and inside of that you can see there I have a whole load of stuff. So this was actually created when I actually created the new console application. That the C# it brought in everything that's needed to run that particular project. Okay, and inside the bin folder and the debug folder, you can see there I have an Intro to C# exe. So again, even if I double click that, you can see there it executes the program. Okay, so you can see there that everything everything required to run the program, okay, is all inside. So C# creates everything that's needed to run that program. Okay, let's just go back here for one more second. Okay, just to summarize here, we created a new program, and again we brought up program.cs. Okay, and inside of the main method we wrote a console write line, and that took an argument hello world, and we used a console read line just to hold the application open. Okay, so our next, I'll just close this one off, and our next one we'll start to get into it a little bit better now, and we'll start looking at variables and writing variables and how they work. Thank you for your attention.